Ah, Thanksgiving. A time for food, football, and family. And as everyone knows, it's also the time of year for that weird older relative you hardly talk to begin nagging about the good old days or something or other about how the youth today are lazy. Well, as one of those lazy youths, I had to ask, how could I channel this vital part of the holiday spirit into a way to say thank you to my community? Well, join me today as we figure out, can you beat Guilty Gear by being an old, nagging boomer? This is Cliff Anderson. He's a short, old man with a giant buster sword, and I like him. He was once the leader of the Sacred Order of Holy Knights. But all we care about is that one of his attacks is him literally yelling an insult at whatever unfortunate youth is in his way. And as you might expect, this is the only move you're allowed to use for the entire game. Can we beat the Second Holy Order tournament? Will we end the menace of justice? Let's find out. Cliff's yell is a very interesting move. On a basic level, the old codger screams, letting fly a flurry of Japanese characters. This projectile is not one long object, but several with their own unique hitboxes. If we stand close to the enemy, only one will fire, with more firing the further we get. At a far range, the projectiles will go up slightly before bouncing on the ground. Now, Guilty Gear 1 is an old game with moves that do an obscene amount of damage, as you will see. That means any match we get into will be less of a race and more of a marathon. But with that all said, let's get into our first match.
Versus May.
So the first match is against the jellyfish pirate known as May. My first instinct here, as you can see, is trying to stay at range and retreat whereas possible. For all intents and purposes here, we are a zoner, and this game is not built to accommodate zoners this slow. As you can see though, unlike modern Guilty Gear games, which are more slow and have a more grounded fighting style, here our opponents have ample room to jump over our projectiles, which is bad. Not only does Grandpa here not do a lot of damage with his nagging, but he can only hurl insults every couple of seconds after firing one, meaning that's time our opponent is using to get ahead in the fight. Well, if we do put up a good fight, our first run dies because unfortunately, by going all the way into the corner, our slow rate of fire on our nagging just doesn't bode well for our defensive posturing. It's only a matter of time before May does big damage that we simply couldn't recover from, leading to our first loss, which will be tracked in a corner above. Our winning attempt comes in the very next round as we find ourselves in a one-on-one situation with May, but employing a new strategy. This time, whenever the opponent opts to back up, I advance forward a little bit to lessen the chance of being cornered like a rat, and even being going to jump around in order to secure better positioning. And bing bang boom, just like that, May goes down, and we secure the first round with only one death under our belt.
Versus Axel Lowe.
Now on paper, one would think that Axel would be more terrifying, given his agility being greater than even May. But frankly, he was a first try cakewalk, and that's simply because he refuses to do actually anything. Hell, he even taunted me in both rounds of the fight, giving me critical time to continue my volley of insults based around calling him a whippersnapper. His moves are also highly telegraphed, making him extremely easy to block the few times he actually bothers to attack me. By the end of the second round, he does begin pushing me into the corner, but by then it's already too little too late, and the old geezer secures an amazing victory.
Versus Potemkin.
Now I'm gonna level with you. Having played a ton of Strive, I am afraid of Potemkin names. But would the big lug be immune to my barrage of questionable insults in this game? Well, yes. Potemkin took the death counter from 1 to 3. While he doesn't have the super armor he is so well known for nowadays, Potemkin is no less of a problem here. Sure, he does move extremely slowly and is a huge target, making it hard for us to miss. The problem is he not only can redirect our insults right back at us, not only does he have an insane HP bar, but he also hits like an absolute freight train, and half the time he can hit us through our attack or even do huge damage through our shield. Make no mistake, we do get the occasional win, but on the losing attempts, I've realized a strategy I have never considered: waiting out the clock. It happened once when I wasn't expecting it, netting us a win. Unfortunately, this strategy is not reliable. Not when he does so much damage with singular hits, it takes us multiple successful attacks to make up. And if things didn't get any worse, the lug can even grab us and pretty much instantly kill us from half health. The winning run forced our geezer to take advantage of his mobility, which there isn't that much of, and constantly make space and try to stay out of the corner when possible. It takes a while, but we finally secure a final round knockout.
Versus Chip Zana.
On to round 4, and oh my god, it's Chip Glass Cannon Zanev. Surely this overgrown weed does no match for our geriatric boomer yelling obscenities. Well, unfortunately, after allowing us to win the first round with relative ease, Chip decided to cancel us from life by performing an instant kill one-shot move on us, and we're in trouble. I'm not even going to bury the lead here. Chip doubled our death counter from 3 to 6. This is because, unlike Axel, who is useless, Chip actually does something with his speed, as he able to teleport to either side of us. If he does this after we yell our anti-weeb sentiments, then he can simply dodge our attacks altogether. What's more, as you just saw, we absolutely cannot allow him to get his hands on us, as if he does, it's simply game over, as he will literally juggle us to our death, or melt our HP bar while leaving us no hope for a counter-offensive. In other words, we can never let him corner us or get his hands on us. Sounds easy. All while being able to jump, as even attempting to jump is a risky proposition. Our liberation came that on the winning attempt we were able to more or less stay away from the corner, and he would often double or even triple teleport, meaning he sometimes would jump right into our insults, allowing us free damage. Make no mistake, it was a Chip fight all the way to the finish line, but ultimately, the youth simply couldn't go the distance.
Versus Faust.
Dr. Baldhead, or as he's called in modern games, Faust, is next on the chopping block, and more important, the next opponent who has way too much mobility. Baldhead has the ability to quite literally fly across the screen, making predicting when to land my slow-moving slurs incredibly hard to predict. On top of that, the Doctor loves going in for grabs whenever he gets even slightly close to you, which can quickly undo entire minutes of progress in just one move. And I do mean minutes, as you don't know, each of these rounds takes 3 minutes to win or lose against Baldhead, each and every fight. So given he is more mobile and more aggressive than Chip, how did I manage to overcome him? Well, AI manipulation. Anyone familiar with challenge runs knows that AI, especially in older games, are susceptible to a bit of trickery and or pokery from time to time. My strategy for Baldhead was to incentivize him to not go for his flying attacks. Instead, I would wait for him to go for his rapid strike attack and then try to stay roughly within the range where he would go for that attack, but far enough away to land my own strikes. It's hardly a perfect strategy, but every second where he wasn't flying over my head, every second I was doing damage, and eventually, the Doctor went down. After killing me 2 times.
Versus Kai Kisk.
Now for Cliff's successor, Kai Kisk. One might think the old man will congratulate Kai on his successes, but like any wise old man, Cliff often just tell him,
"Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut!"
How does that work out for me? Well, Kai Kiske killed us 12 times. He took us from 8 deaths to a whole 20. So why exactly is Kai so difficult for us to fight? He can't fly like Baldhead and he can't teleport like Chip. But what makes Kai so difficult is that first and foremost he has his own ranged attack, which whenever my insults and his sonic booms clashed, you better believe Grandpa's ill-timed rant wasn't winning that one. On top of that, Kai is just by far the most aggressive opponent we've had. He skips the whole high damage supers that Baldhead used. No, he just outright comes and insta-kills us instead. Not once, not twice, but 5 whole times. I realistically tried everything I could do. I even attempted to bait out favorable attacks, but there simply aren't any favorable attacks, and inevitably he would force us into the corner, and then completely obliterate us. As our nagging does very little to force Kai back or save us when in the corner, it is too slow to break Kai's momentum. So how did I win? Sheer dumb luck. Not even gonna hold you. On the winning attempt, I was still getting beat up bad, but because I decided to just be a little bit more aggressive and more jumpy, we got the win.
Versus Melia Rage.
Only 4 more deaths, bringing us to 24. Not bad given what we just went through. Melia Rage is basically a less effective Kai Keith with a penchant for being baited much like Baldhead was. She is quick and hard-hitting and more importantly, very aggressive. And on more than one occasion, she quite literally spammed the same move over and over and over, preventing me from moving. What kind of scum would spam a ranged move? Oh wait. On my first attempt, getting to the second round, Melia decided to snatch away my victory with an instant kill. However, what made this doable, as unlike Kai with his straight shot projectiles, is that Melia's projectiles are angled in a way with proper timing my yells can get through and secure the knockout. A victory, but I am growing concerned about my chances.
Versus Zato 1.
For the first time since Axel, I took no deaths against the Master of Shadows, Zato 1. So what was the difference? Zato doesn't have any annoying poke moves like Kai or Melia, cannot fly or teleport like Baldhead or Chip. Frankly, he was simply just a fair character who even let me leap out of danger when he backed me into a corner. Sure, he didn't manage to nail me with a super attack that hit for humongous damage, but with a super lucky yell, which happens randomly, we land the knockout and move on to...
Versus Soul Bad Guy.
Oh boy, the last person I need to fight before the endgame. Surely this will go... from 24 deaths to 33 deaths. So, what makes Soul difficult? Well, not only do we still have the instant kill problem, which you saw, which will just end some of our runs, not only is Soul by far the most aggressive of any character we've encountered, but he blocks Grandpa's rapid-fire insults 100% of the time. This is a problem for 2 reasons. The first is, we obviously aren't dealing any damage when he blocks. And remember, I cannot fire again while my projectiles are still on screen. That means when he sends them back at me, I have to spend time blocking, which gives him time to close the distance, or charge another attack. Jumping over Soul won't cut it either, as he has moves to punish us massively if we attempt it. And whilst we sometimes land hits when we catch him doing his moves, but that puts him close to me, and once again, he begins the process of beating the tar out of the old windbag. If you need a crystal clear example of how the gas bag has finally run out of steam, let this be it. So after 33 deaths, that answers our question. No, you cannot beat Guilty Gear for the PlayStation 1 as an old, nagging boomer. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below to let me know you want to see more Guilty Gear runs like this. In other words, happy Thanksgiving everyone, and thank you for supporting this channel, and as always, please pray for a true peace in space.